Well, the new year is still a few days away, but people are starting to think about their New Year's resolutions. Well, today, psychologist Ganz Ferrance joins us today to give us some tips on how to keep those resolutions. Now, Dr. Ferrance, thank you very much for coming in, first of all.
My pleasure.
Now, why is it so easy to forget about these resolutions by, mid to the end of January?
Well, I think, first of all, the first thing is that we tend to rush, not have the patience, really. When you think about a resolution, you think about undoing something that's been, in your system and practiced for a long, long time. So really what we need to start doing is thinking much longer term and thinking about keeping that resolution in front of our eyes at least for 30 days. And I suggest maybe even reading it or writing it and reading it over like 3 times a day for 30 days. You have a much better chance of changing your habit if you do that versus, I'm going to quit smoking today and, by the afternoon you're smoking half a pack or whatever, right?
So if you've come up with it today, you might be in some trouble.
Well, yeah, if you come up with it today, it's not so bad if you understand you need to put in the time to have it really take effect in your system. But if you come up with it today and said, okay, I made this resolution today and that's what's going to happen, you're probably in for some disappointment.
Now, how specific do we need to be when we say, I want to lose weight? Should we be more specific, or how do you go about making sure that you can do it?
Well, I think I'm a favor of specificity, right? So make it specific how many pounds you want to lose, or what waist size you want, or whatever it is, and what's the time frame. Make it realistic. Don't say I'm going to lose 50 pounds in the next month, right? Just something that's going to be realistic, 10 pounds or whatever, and then an end date so that you can measure it, and then you can actually measure your progress, once every so often, once a week or whatever. The real important thing to make resolutions successful is to celebrate every little win that you ever experience, no matter how small. Celebrate it, right? I mean, if you're losing weight, don't celebrate it with cake or anything, but do celebrate it so you have that sense of accomplishment and that you're moving forward.
So make it so small steps rather than one big goal.
Yeah.
Now, what about things like quitting smoking? Are these things that people should be doing on their own, or when should you try to get some help?
Well, I mean, I think lots of us have the capacity to do a lot of stuff on our own, but what's easier and what's the best chance of you being more successful, right? I'm always in favor of taking an easier path if it's available to you. So if there's help available, people that can help you through, I'm much more in favor of getting the help and having a coach along the way.
Now, what are some other tips? A coach and even just a group of friends, maybe?
Yeah, well, I think really keep in mind the long view, long-term success versus short-term success, right? Habits have been established over a long time, and if you think about putting in the time over, every day over a certain amount of time, you can get something accomplished. 6 months later, you wake up and say, "Oh wow, look at that! I lost all this weight. I didn't even notice." Right? The other thing is to really, like I said, celebrate all wins. Also, the more of yourself that you can bring to the process. So when you're reading or planning or thinking about your resolution, imagining your success and imagining how you're going to feel at the time will really help to anchor that into your system and give you more energy to keep that going. Right?
Now, I think that I've heard it takes somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 weeks to develop new habits.
Yep, something like three weeks to 30 days. Okay. So, yeah.
So why is it so easy within that time to fail?
Because we typically don't do it consistently within that time, right? Really, if you were, the best way that I can imagine doing this is to write down your goals, why it is you want to achieve them, because why is even more important than what in a lot of cases. Think about how you're going to feel once you have achieved that goal and really let that sink in. And then read that, or if you can preach it or act it out in front of a mirror 3 times a day, you're actually retraining your subconscious. And then you have a much better chance of being successful than just sort of saying it once and hoping for the best.
So commit to it. And
absolutely. Yeah.
Every single day.
Every single day, yeah. 2 or 3 times a day, you do that for a month, you're much more likely to succeed.
All right. Yeah. Sounds like some good advice.
Right on.
Thank you very much for coming in today, Dr.
Pleasure.
Ferrance.
Thank you.